What's up everyone? So today we're talking about FFMI, which stands for Fat-Free Mass Index. And this is a pretty good proxy for muscularity. So today we're going to be talking about how big can you get naturally, what is a reasonable expectation for natural muscle growth. We're also going to be talking about how quickly you can maybe achieve a certain FFMI. So first of all, what is FFMI? So it's Fat-Free Mass Index. It's simply the amount of weight that you are carrying, the amount of mass that you have that is not fat. It's pretty similar to BMI. So BMI is just your height and your weight. FFMI is your height and your weight that is not fat. So it is a pretty good measure of muscularity for the simple reason that, if one person weighs more, and it's lean body mass, the difference is probably going to be muscle, simply because the bones, the organs, the brain, they don't vary that much. So if someone has a lot of lean body mass, what do you think? They just have a 50-pound heart? No, the difference is going to be muscular development every time. So the average FFMI for men is 18.9, and for women it is 15.4. And this is simply because men have higher levels of testosterone, and we just have more muscle mass, especially in the upper body. So when I started out, I was 68 kilos, 1.83 meters tall, and around 10% body fat. Any body fat percentages I am estimating, and this is something that can be tricky, simply because a lot of people, they underestimate their body fat percentage. So they might say to me, Jeff, I'm 15% body fat, right? And then they'll send me a picture, and they have, a sizable belly, no muscular definition, and I'll say to them, dude, you're like 25% body fat. And they'll be like, no, like, when I get a pump, you can see a biceps vein. I'm just like, no. If you have a belly, you're not 15% body fat. So it's important to try to be accurate with your body fat percentage. If you want, you can send me a picture. No nude pictures, just a normal shirtless picture. Unless you're a girl, which would definitely piss my wife off. But send me a picture if you want. I can give you a very quick estimate of your body fat percentage. I'm happy to do that. It takes me about 10 seconds to give you within maybe 2 to 3%. So my stats spit out to an 18.3 FFMI. I'll put the imperial or freedom units on the screen as well for those of you in America. Within 1 year of training, I went from 68 kilos to 82 kilos. That was certainly not all muscle. I would say the majority of it was muscle, but I certainly went up in body fat percentage. At a body fat percentage of 17%, that is an FFMI of 20.3. So I gained about 2 FFMI points. My second year, I went up to 88 kilos, which was a little bit higher body fat percentage. I was probably about 18 or 19% body fat. With 19% body fat, that means my FFMI was now 21.3. So I gained 1 more point of FFMI. That year, I cut down to maybe 82 or 83 kilos, but I looked much better and much leaner than the first time I hit 82 kilos. So the first time I hit 82 kilos, going directly from 68 kilos, I looked like a little bit fluffy, There wasn't very much muscular definition. I had gained quite a bit of fat. But when I had gone above that, and then I cut down to 82 kilos, I had gained muscle, and thus I had less body fat at the same weight. From there, I went up on a 2 or 3 year bulk, about 2 years. So my third and fourth year, I went up to 96 kilos. And using a body fat percentage of 19%, which I say is pretty accurate, that spits out a 23.2 FFMI. From there, I went on a cut down to 85 kilos, and I would say I was around 8% body fat, if not a little bit leaner. I used 85 and 8% for the calculations, but it is quite possible that I was leaner. I had veins all in my abs, down the center of my abs, down the side of my abs. I had cross-striated quads. I had shredded glutes, Christmas tree in the lower back. You could see the fibers in my biceps when I contracted. So I would say I was at least 8%. I didn't have very impressive abdominals, simply because genetically I don't really have that great of abs, but I certainly was very, very lean, well under 10% and probably under 8% as well. And according to the numbers, I was a 23.3 FFMI. So I actually maintained or maybe even very slightly increased my lean body mass. And I attribute this to cutting in a reasonable manner, to having a high protein diet. And to be blunt, I wasn't that strong. So it's not like I was deadlifting 600 or 700 pounds and went on a cut. I was deadlifting, a little bit over 400 pounds. And then when I cut, I did lose a little bit of strength, but I wasn't that strong, so I didn't really have that much to lose. From there, I've gone on a bulk. Coronavirus has sort of screwed things up. I was out of the gym for a few months. I've been back for a few months, but right now I'm back to 95 kilos, and I would say I'm maybe 16 to 17% body fat. So that spits out a 23.8 or a 23.5 FFMI. And so if you are 23 FFMI and you are fairly lean, that is a pretty good amount of muscular development. So what can you attain naturally? Well, this is going to depend on a lot of factors: your diet, your training, your sleep, your genetics. They are all very, very important. Keep in mind, I have above average genetics. I'll admit that fully. I have not a strict diet, but I'm very strict with getting in my protein. I don't think I've ever gotten below 100 grams of protein per day in the past 6 years. Like every single day, I make sure to get in my protein. Sometimes it's clean, sometimes it's not clean, but I make protein a priority. I would also say that I train above average in terms of my discipline. Occasionally, I'll miss a week on vacation, but that might be, once or twice per year. Furthermore, I'm actually still training when I'm on vacation simply because I like to train. I enjoy training. It doesn't feel like work. This is what I love to do. So for me, being consistent is actually quite easy. And I would say I push myself harder than most people push themselves. So let's start from the bottom. If you are 18 or 19 FFMI, that is roughly average. If you are 19 to 20, that is slightly above average, but people might not think that you lift, especially if you are not lean. If you are 25 or 30% body fat and a 19 or 20 FFMI, you basically look slightly bigger than average, but people won't see that you lift. You won't have that looks like he lifts look. If you are 20 to 21, especially if you're lean, that's when people will start to notice that you lift. 21 to 22, people will start asking you about lifting, especially if you're lean. If you're 8% or 18%, that is a very, very big difference. And the leaner you are, the more impressive you will look at a certain FFMI. And that's important to note. If I'm 16% body fat like here, people won't really accuse me of steroids. But I can guarantee you, if I went on a cut and cut down to 8 or 9% body fat, people would be like, you're a fake natty, blah, 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 blah. So body fat percentage is going to be a huge factor. If you are 23 to 24 FFMI, this is going to be something that not everyone can achieve. There are some people out there, maybe they don't have the best genetics, they cannot get to 23 to 24 FFMI. So I see some people asking me, oh, my goal is to get to 24 FFMI. You have to realize that not everyone can do that. And a 24 FFMI is actually very, very developed. If you look at the pre-roid era, the Mr. America contest, some of them won that contest, Mr. America, with a 22 and change FFMI. And there were a few winners who had a 23 FFMI. So you have to realize that 22 and 23 is actually quite developed. And 24 to 25 is extremely developed. A lot of people compare their physique to people who take steroids. And that is not a good comparison, because with steroids, you can achieve 27, 28, 29, 30, 35, even 40. And that is just a completely different ball game. Can you achieve 25 and over naturally? Absolutely. Maybe not you, but I would say it is possible naturally. Maybe even up to 26. When you get into that 26 to 27 range, this is where I become very, very doubtful. I think it is possible for some absolute genetic freaks to get to this level naturally, but they probably won't be very lean, and it's going to be extremely, extremely rare. And when you're above 27, I would say you're almost certainly on something at some point. If I have no other information and someone says I have a 27 FFMI, I would say there's a 99.999% chance that they're on steroids. Would I make an accusation? No, simply because there's probably a 1 in a million or a 1 in a billion chance that they are on, that they're actually natural. And so you just don't know. It's also worth noting that you can have below a 25 FFMI and be unnatural. So you can be above a 25 and be natural, but you can certainly be a 22 FFMI and be taking steroids. Maybe you have really bad genetics, bad diet, bad sleep, bad training, and you hop on the gear really early and you still look like crap, but you're on steroids, you're not natural. And so, if someone says, oh, he's 100% natural, what, did you follow him around for the past 5 years? I mean, did you watch him pee in the cup? I mean, so you don't know if someone is natural. You can guess on the available data, but there's no way to know for sure. Heck, you can have a 17 FFMI and be on something, okay? It's not like steroids are magic. They are extremely effective, but you could take them and still be very, very not muscular, okay? So it's important to realize that FFMI is going to be correlated with steroid use, but it is in no way an absolute certainty that they are natural or not natural. It's also worth noting that this is just an estimation, so you don't know your FFMI for sure, and you should treat any numbers as estimations. So it's a pretty simple formula, just 3 numbers: weight, height, body fat percentage. You can tell your weight pretty easily, same with your height, but body fat percentage is going to be much more of an estimation. And even DEXA, even underwater weighing, even calipers, any estimation is going to be potentially off by quite a bit. I've seen DEXA scans that are clearly wrong, and you don't know for sure. You can estimate it, but again, it's just an estimation. Because you're estimating part of the formula, the output is also going to be an estimation. So maybe I'm 23.5, maybe I'm 23, maybe I'm 24. There's just no way to say for sure. So don't be too hung up on the number. It's just a number. It doesn't matter that much. So I'll link the formula in the description. Let me know, what is your FFMI and what is your goal FFMI? Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Peace.